Trevor Bauer is an all-star pitcher. One of the best Major League Baseball pitchers in the country. Incredibly highly paid. Left the Cincinnati Reds and went to pitch for the LA Dodgers. And after he got to LA, a woman accused him of sexual assault. And not just sexual assault, particularly a heinous version of sexual assault that involved him choking her to the point of near death, beating her up, fracturing her skull. Really, really, not just sexual assault, but awful, violent acts. And those allegations were spread widely by sports media, who accepted the anonymous woman's claims as 100% truth. Yesterday, after a multi-year legal battle, there were never any criminal charges brought, which should immediately have raised your eyebrows, like, okay, what was going on here? Trevor Bauer settled the lawsuit that he had filed, and the woman as well settled her lawsuit. They basically agreed to walk away. And Trevor Bauer shared a great deal of evidence that had never been public, that the woman basically decided to set him up because he was worth tens of millions of dollars. And she was never actually raped, and she was never actually physically assaulted based on the evidence that he laid out there. And I know we have a lot of people who listen all over the country, and I've been really frustrated as a lawyer about the degree to which identity politics has taken over our justice system. That is, your race, your gender, your sexuality, whatever it is, your identity is a proxy for whether you're guilty or innocent, not the actual facts of a case. And I think we're failing in a big way. But what I would say here, and I'm curious how you would respond to this idea, Buck. This also, by the way, happened for a Buffalo Bills punter, Trevor Ariza, who lost his job in the NFL as soon as he was alleged to committed gang rape. It turns out that the woman consented. There was no gang rape that actually occurred. When a woman falsely accuses a man of rape, I believe that, and it's proven, I believe that the woman, there should be legislation introduced all over the country. I believe that the woman should face the same punishment that the man would have faced in the event that he was guilty of rape. Because what we have created when we say #BelieveAllWomen is a universe where women they don't even have their names oftentimes because of rape shield laws ever put out publicly, can attack a man. His name is immediately put out everywhere. And if you are later found to be the victim, like it appears Trevor Bauer was here based on the evidence, this is basically Duke lacrosse. If you are found to be innocent, you can never go back and reclaim what was taken for you by the false allegations, and the woman just gets to skate off into the future with no consequences for the lies. If you are a survivor of sexual assault, you should be 100% opposed to any woman that lies about sexual assault because it delegitimizes what actually happened to you. Don't you think there should be criminal consequences in cases like these where there are these fake allegations made that are designed to ruin a man's life?
There should definitely be criminal consequences. There are criminal consequences everywhere else in the law for perjury, for lying about, not even necessarily allegations, but just lying in general. This shouldn't be, separated from that. And you mentioned the Duke lacrosse case. In that instance, the woman who brought the fake gang rape allegation against those Duke lacrosse players, she did not face any criminal sanction for a clear and provable lie, right? There's a difference between this wasn't proven in a court of law, meaning, it's not that, okay, this person who was accused was acquitted, now we have to turn around and charge the person who made the allegation. Obviously you can't do that either. But if it is provable beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody lied about this allegation, it is in fact in the law that they should suffer consequences of that. And the Duke lacrosse accuser went on to kill a guy.
Yeah, that's
later
right.
on. So somebody probably would be alive today if there had been criminal consequences for someone who tried to ruin lives. I mean, that is the Kavanaugh moment is still, I think, one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. I might be the ugliest thing I've ever seen in American politics. And Kamala Harris I will never forgive or forget was a major part of that, part of the Senate committee that was trying to really commit a ritualized and excruciating psychological torture and destruction of the soul of an entirely, obviously innocent man. And it was all about protecting abortion. It was all about the ends justify the means. Of the three women who came forward, they were each lacking in credibility, but the second and the third went to the point of being just absurd and insane. You can't make allegations against somebody and say, well, I don't really remember what happened, which is what the second woman did. And there were other allegations against Kavanaugh that they didn't even bring forward because they were so obviously untrue, as in Kavanaugh sexually, this one woman told the Senate committee or tried to get rid of the Senate committee that Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her in a state he had never been in. So that would have been a metaphysical, feat of, anyway, you understand. The whole thing is absurd. It was crazy. It was disgusting, and Democrats paid some price politically for it. I think it cost them the Senate, but we now have this standard where people can try to destroy people based on evidence-free allegations. I mean, there's no evidence other than I say someone did a thing. And it can be, a thing that in the case of Kavanaugh is so far ago that, what are we even talking about? Like, how could you defend yourself?
Correct.
How can you defend yourself against allegations that are that old? And in this case with this individual you're talking about now, at least he didn't face criminal sanction, but he faced massive professional sanction. This baseball player, his career is ruined. His reputation was ruined and destroyed. And where does he go to get his reputation the last 2 years of his life back and his career and everything else? Where does he go?
The media, to a large extent, that helped to ensure that he was unable to. So for people out there who don't understand, he's pitching in Japan now because he's effectively been banned by Major League Baseball based on these allegations. And it's been inevitable that this would happen, Buck, because Duke lacrosse happened. And when you make a decision that you're going to determine whether or not this was true, remember, the media wanted Duke lacrosse to be true because they wanted privileged white guys to have raped a black stripper. Like, they wanted that to happen because it comported with their worldview. It was perfect for them. Oh, look at these rich white kids. They're playing lacrosse at this privileged school. Of course they raped. I think there were 2 girls initially that were involved, strippers that came to a house off campus. And, they shut down the season. They fired the Duke lacrosse coach. Ultimately, the Duke lacrosse players were able to get massive settlements, which we've never had fully revealed. But you would think that would be a lesson for sports media, wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know that you could have a more clarifying situation than Duke lacrosse, where those kids, those Duke lacrosse players, were 100% innocent. And now, again, based on this evidence that has come out about Trevor Bauer, it appears that he's 100% innocent too. And where do you go to get back what was taken for you based on the false allegations? And don't tell me, Buck, that this woman didn't know when Kamala Harris said, #we're going to believe all women, that she would be believed. Because, again, identity politics dictate that the wealthy white baseball player was the victimizer. That's what they want the world to be, because that's what the identity politics victimization pyramid, the oppression Olympics, dictates has to happen.
And with Kavanaugh, the message that was sent, even though he did end up making it to the Supreme Court, and I think that anyone of any who's even vaguely fair-minded understood the whole thing was just a smear. I mean, the ugliest and most disgraceful political smear of my lifetime, I think. Although Russia collusion was really bad too, but that's of a different kind. But Clay, it sends a message to people: if you stand against the machine, or if you get on the wrong side of the politics in this country, people will come forward who will lie about you being a sexual predator in front of in front of all of America, your friends and family, and everyone that you know. And even when they're proven to have been lying, or even when it's clear that they're lying, they will feel justified in this. Yeah. Because it is worth it to them. And the fact that we've never really grappled with that as a country, and there's never really been anybody who has come forward to say, that Kavanaugh could have been anyone's dad, anyone's friend, anyone's, baseball coach, whatever, for the little league team. That was one of the ugliest, most disgraceful things the Democrats have ever done. And I think that as a society, we need to start having a little bit more of a hold on a second, like this baseball player, to bring it back, full circle again. How did this happen to him? Like, how can Major League Baseball look itself in the mirror and not think we ruined an entirely innocent guy's life, or at least, ruined 2 years of it. It sounds like he's going to be all right. There never were criminal charges brought, thank God.
Yeah.
But there could have been, based on the allegations.
I think ultimately, Buck, what it's about is cowardice. Because if you are willing to say maybe Trevor Bauer didn't do it, then immediately the media says, oh, you're a rape apologist. Right? Because everybody is afraid when there's an accusation like this. And we talked about it with Mel Tucker. I mean, don't forget, Mel Tucker, the head football coach of Michigan State, just lost his $80 million job because a woman claimed that he had engaged in non-consensual phone sex with her during a 36-minute phone call. I'm like the only person in all of college football media who said, wait a minute, this is total BS. Is that because I'm uniquely in possession of a functional brain? No, it's because all these guys who cover college football are afraid if they speak up and say, yeah, this is BS, that they're going to get targeted and they're going to lose their job. And that's the same reason you got a lot of cowards in Major League Baseball. You got a lot of cowards in this country right now. People don't want to speak up about what's right because they're afraid that they're going to get targeted. And I think to a large extent, that's why so many people are rallying around Trump, because even if they don't think he's 100% innocent, they at least appreciate the fact that he is willing to actually take on the slings and arrows of this illegitimate justice system that we have created in order to stand up for, in the long run, what may be right.